Oh, morning, Herbie.
So you know all those souvenir books we're selling to the Indians too?
Herbie, I'm a little busy this
I'm
morning.
down to 2. Really 1 because I'm going to go for the last one myself. Even though $3 is like 50% of my weekly income.
That's a very commendable sacrifice, Herbie.
Well, it's an act of love, and it's only $3. It'll make you feel good. Makes me feel good.
Herbie, how many times this semester have you made me feel good like this?
Being a beautiful person has to cost something, right? Thank you very much, Mr. Kaufman.
Herbie? That was a 5 I gave you.
I'm sorry. You don't mind silver, do you?
Sorry about all the silver. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Looks like Herbie scored with 3 second-to-last books today.
Make that 4.
Yeah, we all fell for it.
That kid is amazing. Well, one consolation, he's going to have to spend half his weekly wages to buy the last copy.
He's a beautiful person.
And being a beautiful person has to cost something, right? Right.
I don't know how to tell you this, Mr. Kaufman, but it looks like your metal shop has gone into business.
Going into business? What do you mean?
Well, George Davis, a friend of mine, told me he paid for materials, and your kids did all the body work and the painting.
On what?
His car. Good job, I saw it. But gee, this last month, I know I lost 5, maybe 6 jobs to your free fender clinic.
Jimmy, that's bad news. There are definite rules about that. You have every right to complain. We're not here to put you out of business.
I feel like a fink.
No, absolutely not. Do you have a phone number for Mr. Davis?
Yeah.
Thank you. Excuse me. Hello, Bonnie. Would you get me 558-6548, please? Well, you don't have one line? Okay, keep trying.
Here's my point. The government's whole system of competitive bidding is putting it where it's at. It's dealing with reality.
Pam?
Look, it seems to me that if you get a contract by making a low bid and you know it can't be done at that cost, that is dishonest.
Right.
Long, big business is never that simple.
Why not? A lie is a lie.
So you think big business is a lie, huh? Does anybody else have any opinions on the subject? Bernie?
Yes, sir.
Competitive bidding. What's your opinion?
Well, I think we need more facts. Sir, always say, get the facts, then decide.
Good stall, Bernie, but not good enough. May I have that, please?
Oh, you mean this? Well,
It's mine, sir.
What are you trying to do, sell it?
Oh, no, sir. I was just lending it to him. I'd never sell that chronometer. It was given to me by my Aunt Clara.
Oh, your Aunt Clara.
Sort of a family heirloom, sir. I'll take that home and keep it in the family, sir. Here's the point, Larry. You have a project. You do it for the grade, right?
Right.
And you buy your own materials at a discount, right?
Right.
So once you get your grade, what do you do with the project, Larry?
Keep it or give it to someone.
Larry, what would guys like you do without guys like me?
Stay out of trouble, I think.
Larry, people pay big money for stereo cabinets and end tables. Big money. And you make them for nothing.
I make them to learn how to make them.
Good. So learn on someone else's time. How many end tables can you make in a month?
4, 5, working after school.
Go for 8. I'll give you $5 each over the cost of your materials.
And how much you gonna get for them?
What's the difference? My profit is small. I do this for love.
Oh, and when it comes to hustling, nobody loves better than you. Mr. Kaufman want to see you in his office.
Thanks. Peace, brothers, peace.
Yeah, profit, brother, profit.
But you're not even in auto shop. What are you doing soliciting these jobs?
I was just helping.
Helping whom?
Students, teachers, anyone I can.
Oh, I see. Oh, you mean these are all Walt Whitman students and teachers here, is that right?
Well, the regulations say that a teacher can get his car fixed. So I figure any teacher at any school. Otherwise, it wouldn't be fair to the teachers at grade schools or junior highs where they don't have auto shop. True?
Oh, it must be true if you say so, Herbie. Excuse me, this, where is he? Mr. Davis here. Now, is he a school teacher?
Davis. I can't place the name, sir, but if he's on that list, I must have thought he was eligible. I mean, I know the regulations, sir.
Oh, I'll bet you do, Herbie. I'll bet you have them all memorized. Okay. Okay, that's all.
Sorry, Mr. Dixon. I guess you must have called between 10 and 11.
Why between 10 and 11?
That's when it seems to get the most busy.
Is there something wrong with the switchboard? Every time I pick up the phone in the teacher's lounge, the circuits are all busy.
We've had a busy day, Miss Johnson.
Well, how am I supposed to order tickets for the drama club?
Well, maybe when the phone's clear, I could send a telegram.
Oh, swell. Oh, send a bird. Oh, I can't believe it.
I can see already this is one of those days. What's going on out here?
That's what I'd like to know. Debbie Burton's mother sent me a note saying she's been trying to call me for 2 days, but the lines are always busy.
Excuse me. Bunny, have you been picking up all of these?
Mr. Considine called Mr. Emery regarding American Legion program. Herbie called Mr. Ross about cedar chess. Does Mr. Considine know if the print shop has any Hebraic characters?
Please, I read them. Bunny, this is it. From now on, I don't want you to accept any more messages for Herbie Considine. I'd like you to tell that to all the other girls that work the board, please.
Yes, Mr. Kaufman, I'm sorry. We were just trying to help. Herbie does so much good, you know?
Oh, yes, I know. Do you have that phone number from Mr. Davis?
Oh, it's right here.
Would you try to get it for me now, please? Pete, come on in.
What's with Herbie Considine?
I don't know, but I tell you something. I'm going to find... Excuse me. Hello. Oh, Mr. Davis, yes. This is Seymour Kaufman over at Walt Whitman High School. I wanted to ask you about that car you had repaired in our body shop. Uh-huh. Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear it. No. All the bills are final. What was the total on that bill, please? Mm-hmm. And were there any additional charges? Uh-huh. Oh, yes, he is. He's a great little hustler. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you very... oh, by the way, do you happen to be a school teacher, Mr. Davis? I see. Well, thank you very much. Bye-bye. Herbie had Mr. Davis' car fixed in the body shop.
And Mr. Davis is not a teacher or employee.
How'd you guess?
I'm psychic. Herbie cut himself in for a piece of the action, right?
Cost was $25 for Herbie.
Well, there's one kid who's getting something out of school.
Oh, yes, between woodworking, print shop, ceramics, a few other odds and ends, it's a living.
Probably a very good one. Low overhead, too.
Not funny.
Who's laughing?
One thing about Herbie's escapades, we get to see his father. It's so seldom.
That's for your benefit, Mr. Kaufman. It's supposed to suggest that Herbie wouldn't have these moral lapses if I exercised my visitation rights.
Or paid some child support.
Well, I wanted to talk to you about Herbie.
Well, fine. What's the problem?
Well, the problem seems to be that Herbie's in some gray areas. Taking that money from Mr. Davis, for example.
Well, I don't see where that's any different.
Would you let him finish? Let somebody finish.
Well, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were listening.
All I want to say is that Herbie's a very bright boy, but his whole adjustment seems to be beat the system.
So what's wrong with that?
Some people find it morally reprehensible.
Yeah, the dropouts.
You still dismember like a professional, my dear.
Oh, you talk so good. It's too bad the money's never where the mouth is.
Mrs. Considine. Mr. Considine. I think we better take a good look at where Herbie is headed before it's too late.
I have no influence with him. I've tried.
There he goes. Retreat.
Do you two want to talk about your son?
Herbie can take care of himself. Nobody needs to worry about Herbie.
I'm providing a service. I never asked for money.
Oh, Herbie, for Pete's sake.
People get a fee for their time and trouble in the real world. Money is where it's at. Thing is, I can't decide if I want to be a used car salesman or a brain surgeon.
And I tell you how it's going to be. When you're out in the real world, you let your conscience be your guide. But while you're in our little sandbox here, I don't want you to have anything more to do with the body shop, the switchboard, the print shop, or any other enterprises your fertile brain might initiate. Understood?
You're the boss, Mr. Kaufman, sir.
Herbie.
Oh, hi, Mr. Dixon.
What's up?
Just been sitting here meditating, sir.
Meditating.
Yes, sir. You know, sometimes a guy's got to take a long, quiet look at himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, what'd you come up with?
I'm clean, Mr. Dixon. I mean, Mr. Kaufman is lowered the boom on me as if I was some kind of a criminal. I'm not. But because I'm a kid, I don't have the same kind of rights that other people do.
Oh, I see. So you've been sitting here meditating on your civil rights, huh?
I figured you'd understand my feelings, Mr. Dixon. Maybe you'll talk to Mr. Kaufman for me.
What shall I talk to him about, Herbie? You were skimming, chiseling, cutting yourself in?
I was succeeding. That's why he came down on me.
No, Herbie. He came down on you because you took $25 from Mr. Davis. So quit kidding yourself.
I was providing a service. If someone wants to give me a tip, I have a right to accept.
Tell me something, Herbie. Did you split that tip with the kids who did the actual work? The kids in the body shop? No, Herbie, I don't think you did. You just exploited them and you know it. So you'd better think about it.
Bonnie,
Yes, Miss Johnson?
take all of these tickets out of the rack, okay?
Aren't they for the show?
No, the whole set's out of register. Print shop had to do them over.
They look all right. Don't they, Herbie?
Yeah.
Let me see those. Here. Some of them are okay, but on most of them, the printing didn't even hit the cardboard. It's just easier to run off a whole new set. Bonnie, I think you better destroy this set, okay?
Yes, Miss Madison.
We're done with the announcements now, Miss Johnson. Can I go?
Well, yeah. Unless you want to stay and help some more.
No, I don't want to stay and help some more.
My, another beautiful person heard from.
I'm sorry, but I'm not doing anything for this rotten school that I don't have to do.
Oh, come on, Herbie. You were sharpshooting and you got caught. Don't blame the school.
Why not? I'm supposed to be some kind of a criminal, aren't I?
No, Herbie, nobody thinks that.
The faculty does.
Well, I'm the faculty, and I don't think you're a criminal. Look, Herbie, you've got exceptional gifts for organizing, promoting, and selling. We all know it. But your energies need channeling. Tell you what, why don't you come by my office later and we'll talk about it?
It's a waste of time, Miss McIntyre.
Why?
I'm a one-man operation. I have to call my own shots.
Herbie, you keep talking about the real world. Well, when you get out there, you're going to find out that no one is a one-man operation.
She's right, Herbie. You know, you have so much to give, and we could really use your help. In fact, you could take over the ticket sales.
You sure could. They're going in the red, and they could use the Considine magic touch.
Herbie?
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I don't want to be in charge, but I'll take 500 tickets.
You what?
You're going to sell 500 tickets?
Yeah, how much do they go for?
$2.50.
I guarantee you $3.50. Is that beautiful enough?
It's super beautiful.
How?
The magic Considine touch.
Who are you?
Herbie Considine. And you are Mr. Gerard.
Yes, that's right. I mean, are you in the show?
No, sir. The reason I'm doing this, sir, is because this is my last year in school, and unless plays like this can pay their own way, this will be the end. Budget cuts, you know. Now, we can always get money for the dopers and the dropouts, but we've got 120 good, clean kids really involved in this. And we figure our faculty has got to set an example.
Oh, is everyone buying them?
Who could refuse?
Oh, well, I mean, if it's expected,
Thank you very much, Mr. Gerard. You have a real first-rate attitude.
Oh, thank you. Anytime.
Well, did you sell a stack for us, Bernie?
Well, I took 10 and I sold 4. 6 tickets, $10.
Saying that I took 10 and sold 2.
Oh, I didn't sell any.
I know it, man. Everybody's broke.
Well, how does it look, huh?
Dismal.
Herbie's doing good. He's got every hustler in the school selling tickets for him.
How do you suppose he does that?
Got me, but if I figure it out, I ain't snitching.
I have a lot of tickets to return.
Oh, Herbie. Not you, too.
I'm sorry. Here are the 78 I couldn't move. And here is my personal check for the 422 tickets that I sold.
You're kidding.
Herbie! You sold 422 tickets?
The dude got talent, real talent.
It's like a full house, huh?
Hi, Pete.
Hi.
Say, Pete. Could I trouble you for a minute?
Sure, Jeff.
I'm a bit confused. Maybe you can help me out. These seats are occupied.
Well, why don't you try an usher?
Well, I hate to disturb anyone. I mean, these seats are occupied by a couple with a set of tickets exactly like this. The same color, the same row, the same seat number. I do hate making a fuss.
There must be some mistake.
Oh, sure. That's what it is.
These 4 tickets are the same as these 4 tickets.
They are?
There are 2 long-haired hippies sitting in our seats.
It's been some time.
My ticket is the same as his ticket, and that's 8 tickets.
The more people really want to sit there.
What's going on?
Oh, dear. Oh, boy.
I would like to know, as briefly as possible, what happened.
I honestly don't know, Mr. Kaufman.
That's brief. All right. How many duplicate tickets were there?
18, wasn't it, Bonnie?
I don't remember exactly.
In any case, you were supposed to destroy them.
All right. 18 duplicate tickets, and somebody sold them. That's $45, right?
That's right.
Well, why beat around the bush? Who's responsible?
Mr. Kaufman, it was my fault. I'm class treasurer. I shouldn't have left those tickets lying around.
Bonnie, you left them lying around, but you didn't take them, did you?
What's the difference? It's still my responsibility.
Let me ask you one more question. Do you have any idea who did take them?
No, Mr. Kaufman, I don't.
Herbie? Do you?
Why ask me first? There were plenty of other kids in that ticket office.
Well, I sure didn't get them.
I don't know nothing about it.
I didn't take them.
Okay. That's it. Whitman High has been had for $45.
Mr. Kaufman, it was my responsibility. I'll make up the money. And I think I should resign as class treasurer.
Oh, wow.
The treasurer's supposed to be responsible for other people's money. And I wasn't.
Hey, we can always raise more money.
Herbie, money is not the most important part of this situation. Do you understand that?
Hey, dummy.
How'd you figure you'd get away with it, Herbie?
Well, I sold tickets to a lot of merchants who usually don't show up for these things. This time they did. Why'd you cover for me?
Because some people are beautiful people. Even when they're bad guys.
Amazing. You were the last one I would have suspected.
I guess you knew it all along.
Well, Herbie, they say confession's good for the soul. You feel better?
Not much. What are you going to do to me?
Well, unfortunately, you see, the rack and the wheel and the Iron Maiden are all out of style now. So we're going to start with a month's detention. After you pay back the $45.
No sweat. I'll do that easy.
Bet you will.
Frederick Douglass Pam and Helen's doing Harriet Tubman. Jason, who have you got?
I got Whittier, Lowell, Ralph Waldo Emerson, Harriet Beecher Stowe.
You mean you intend to cover all of the abolition literature of 4 writers by tomorrow?
Not me alone. I'm gonna do a team report.
Hey, that's a good idea. Who are the others?
Larry and Herbie.
Me? First I knew about it. I've got things to do tonight.
You sure do, because Emerson wrote a whole bunch of stuff about independence and being a man and answering to your own conscience. And the reason I chose you, Herbie, is I figure you're a natural expert on the subject.
Very good choice, Jason. Herbie, I can hardly wait to see your report tomorrow.
But I've got things to do tonight.
Of course, if you can't cut it, then we just have to find somebody else. Let me see.
No, I can cut it. I can cut it easy. It's just that I've been had.
I don't know what you mean by that. Everybody knows you can't count on this man, Herbie. man, you trying to tell me that a man can get away with murder?
Happens every day.
Oh, yeah, man, I forgot. Them that got bread don't get hurt.
I was talking about problems in our court system, Jason. I didn't mean to imply that justice can be bought.
Well, imply it, man, because it happens every day of the week.
All right, hold it. Now, we're getting a little off base. We're supposed to be discussing the social unrest in this country right after the First World War.
Well, it was just like it is now. There were radicals setting off bombs all over the place, killing innocent people.
Maybe, but there were plenty of innocent people who got thrown into jail because they were suspected of being radicals.
Digging.
Do you have any facts to prove that?
I suppose you got a handful, man, that says you're right.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I do. My father used to be a judge. It's hard enough trying to convict the guilty.
Right. Them that's got bread don't get hurt.
Digging.
Okay, Val pointed out that right after the First World War, there were a number of bombings believed to be caused by radicals. Now, just what did our government do about it, Jason?
They flipped out, man. They were throwing cats in jail and out of the country all over the place.
Maybe some individual policemen and prosecutors did, but when the cases got to court, they got justice.
Oh, yeah? What about Sacco and Vanzetti?
Well, they're a perfect example. They were able to appeal that conviction for years.
Who were Sacco and Vanzetti?
A fish peddler and a shoemaker on page 230 of last night's assignment, which you obviously overlooked.
I'm innocent. I'm not talking till I see my lawyer.
Sacco and Vanzetti are nothing to joke about. They were convicted of robbery and murder.
Which they didn't commit.
Well, then why did they get the electric chair?
Because they were red.
Because they were guilty.
What do you think, Mr. Dixon?
Well, I think if you read all of the facts surrounding the case, you'll come up with your own decision.
Facts can be dead, man. I just wished I was there to dig the trial in action.
Hey, I got it. Why don't we do it?
Do what?
You know, act it out.
You mean you want to retry the Sacco-Vanzetti case right here in class?
Right.
Yeah, man, that'll be better than the textbook.
Well, maybe you're right, Jason. Okay, we'll do it.
Yeah, but it was so long ago. Do you think we'll be able to get enough information to conduct a fair trial?
No problem. More books have been written about Sacco and Vanzetti than any other case in American history.
Hold the press. This room 222's gonna write another.
I kind of like the idea. I'll tell you what you do. You kids do the research, get all the high points, and reach your own verdict.
I can tell where popular opinion lies. How are we going to keep it from becoming a whitewash?
Oh, that'll be easy. We'll make you the prosecuting attorney. And Jason, how would you like to be the defense attorney?
Okay, but don't expect no Thurgood Marshall.
I'll be judge.
I think I'd better be the judge, Bernie.
Objection sustained.
Hey, Your Honor, the defense would like to postpone the case on the ground it don't know what I'm doing.
Case postponed until tomorrow.
I'm sorry I didn't have time to talk to you this morning. Now what's the problem?
I was going to ask you the same thing.
What do you mean?
We've known each other ever since we were little kids. But lately, it's as if we were strangers. Something wrong at home?
No, nothing at all.
Oh, stop it, Val. Our folks have been friends for 20 years. I hear my mom and dad whispering. There seems to be some kind of big trouble up at your place, but you just don't trust me enough to talk about it. How come you didn't go to the Honor Society meeting last week?
I was busy.
Your grades have dropped. You're not eligible this semester. Why won't you admit anything?
Why won't you mind your own business?
Because I thought what happened to you was my business. And it's making me sick. Val, you're so busy pulling the wool over your own eyes that you're going blind.
Oh, knock it off, Sherry. People are looking.
Right, Val. Don't let anyone ever see you looking bad.
The only 3 applications he's made are to Yale, Princeton, and Harvard.
Well, when he aims high.
Yeah, and unrealistically. Val's grades are not what they used to be, Pete. Have you noticed?
Yeah. In my class, he's dropped down from an A to a B, but that's no reason to panic.
What about in your class, Alice?
He's doing B work.
Mm-hmm. And for Yale, Princeton, and Harvard, B work is not good enough.
Who's the Ivy League hopeful?
Val Silverton. And I wish I could convince him to try somewhere else.
I thought all this preoccupation with status schools was passé. Why didn't he drop out, get a van, and see Europe like the rest of the kids?
It wouldn't work for Commissioner Silverton, son. That boy is forthright, upright, and uptight. I sure hate to see a kid put himself in a pressure cooker like that.
Tell me this. Do you wear glasses?
Glasses? No, I don't wear glasses.
Is there anything wrong with your eyesight at all?
No, I see just fine.
Good, very good. Have you ever seen this man before?
Yes, I've seen him.
Are you absolutely sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
Jason, you get your chance to cross-examine the witness.
I just want to point out the lies as they're being told.
Oh, Jason, are you calling me a lie?
Not you, Pam, but the chick you pretended to be, she wasn't no George Washington.
Mr. Sacco, why did you slink off to Mexico when other men your age were going off to war?
Your Honor, I object to the word slink. It's influencing the jury in a bad way.
I agree with you, Jason, but the original trial judge allowed that line of questioning. So will I. Would you please answer the question, Mr. Sacco?
I went to Mexico to avoid the draft.
Would you call yourself a non-violent man, Mr. Sacco?
You could also say that I was a bit of a coward.
Well, then why is it that the police found a gun in your possession when you were arrested?
Because I was afraid.
Afraid of what?
Afraid of what was happening to people like me. I mean, my friend was killed the day before I was arrested.
Would you call yourself a radical, Mr. Sacco?
Knew you were going to ask me that. Yes, I am a radical. I have big red horns, I breathe fire, and I frighten little kids.
The gun found in your possession was loaded, was it not?
Lots of people in America keep loaded guns.
Ah, but you're not an American, are you, Mr. Sacco?
I forgot that part. What do I say?
Your Honor, may I come forward and show the witness the homework he was supposed to do last night?
Allowed.
No, I'm not an American, but I love this country.
If you love it so much, why did you never bother to apply for citizenship?
Your Honor, I object. I don't see what all this has got to do with whether or not my client shot them two dudes.
It's a good point, Jason. A lot of people felt that way and condemned the original judge for allowing that line of questioning.
So what? I'm condemning. Are you allowing?
No, the idea of this exercise is to learn from the facts. Proceed.
Mr. Sacco, is it or is it not true that on the night of April 15th, 1920, you attempted to rob a shoe factory?
No, I wasn't there.
Furthermore, is it not true that meeting with resistance, you cold-bloodedly and with malice aforethought took out your pistol and shot the guard and paymaster dead?
No, I didn't do it.
Witnesses have sworn they saw you.
It wasn't me. It was some other guy who looks like me.
Yes, of course. Ladies and gentlemen, how many times have we heard those words? It wasn't me. I'm innocent. It was 6 other guys. Phony alibis. Weak excuses. Black is black and white is white, and that man is guilty. He was indicted for robbery and murder, and he wouldn't be here if there wasn't overwhelming evidence of his guilt.
Hey, your boyfriend's something else, Sherry. I think he could pass his bar examination tomorrow.
Yeah. He's his father's son, all right.
Okay, everybody, settle down. I understand you're working on the Sacco Vanzetti trial in your history class.
You might say it's working on us. I'm tired.
Well, I thought it would be a terrific idea if we took a look at how literature commented on it.
Oh, no, not here, too.
Well, there are 2 great plays. Winterset and the Male Animal, novels by Upton Sinclair and John Dos Passos, poems by Edna St. Vincent Millay.
And from Whitman High, a buffo performance by Val Silverton as prosecuting attorney.
You're late, Tony.
I'm sorry, Miss Johnson. I forgot my books. I had to go back.
Oh, okay. Well, let's get started. But before we get started on the trial, let's turn to page 122. Last night's assignment. May I see the paper, please?
It's about Val's father, Miss Johnson.
Former judge indicted. Commissioner Metzel. Commissioner Metzel in charge.
is it?
Sorry.
Thank you.
Hey, you want to cry or something? I wish you'd let go, Val. I won't tell anyone.
Cry for that hypocrite, for that phony.
Val.
I hate him for this. I hate him for having made liars out of my mom and me.
Val, he may be innocent.
Yeah. Sherry, you said you heard your folks whispering at home. Well, I've heard things in my house, too. Hushed up phone calls, cars coming and going in the middle of the night. It's been coming on a long time.
Don't you think you should at least give him a chance to explain?
Explain what? Oh, he got careless and blew his cover? Look, Sherry, your folks have been friends with mine for a long, long time. You know what my father was really like.
Oh, Val.
We all had our roles and we played them. But nobody was supposed to know. That's right, Mr. Kaufman. I'd like you to write me a letter of recommendation.
Oh, I'd be happy to, Val. You kind of caught me by surprise. When was all this decided?
Recently.
I haven't had a word about it from Miss McIntyre.
I was just on my way to see her.
Val, this private school, is this your folks' idea?
No, sir. It's mine.
Have you even talked to them about it?
I don't need to, Mr. Kaufman. I can promise you that if you write the letter, my father will write the check. Thanks.
Hi. Am I interrupting something?
No, Pete, come in. Val and I were just discussing his plans to transfer to a private school.
Ooh. It's a pretty fast decision, isn't it, Val?
Fast decisions are the mark of a successful man. My father taught me that, among other things.
I heard the news. I'm sorry. Do you believe the charges?
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't?
Not a bit.
Val, are you saying you don't feel obliged to support your father, whether he's innocent or not?
I've supported my father's phony image and stood by like his good, faithful little servant most of my life.
But, tell me, Val, do you think that private school is far enough away?
What do you mean?
I mean, if you're going to run away and hide, why don't you do it right? You may bump into someone who knows your family there. So why don't you, try Africa?
That's very funny, Mr. Dixon.
I'm not trying to be funny, Val. I saw you do a brilliant job playing prosecutor in my class. You took facts and you built a case. And now it seems to me that you're building a case on a newspaper headline.
I'm building a case on a life about which you know nothing, Mr. Dixon.
You're right. I know nothing about your father's life. I have a sneaky suspicion you don't know everything about him.
Val, you've already tried and convicted him. If everyone thought like you, we wouldn't need courts or lawyers. But we do need them to separate fact from emotion.
I'm not emotional.
You haven't shown your emotions until now, but you've been feeling them. Val, it's no disgrace. We all feel them.
Val, emotions don't go away by you pretending they're not there.
Yes. I see. Okay. Thank you. Val, Mr. Kaufman would like to see you.
What's that about?
Val's father's here.
Val, we're really sorry about all the trouble.
Thanks.
Hang in there.
Say, man, you be cool, huh?
Yeah.
Sure.
Come in. Hello, Val. I
came here as soon as I saw the headlines. I wanted to get here before you read it.
If you were so anxious to talk to me, Dad, why didn't you when you got the subpoena? That must have been this morning.
The whole case is built on thin air, Val. We wanted to keep it quiet.
Oh, right.
Folks, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to leave you two alone.
Thank you, Mr. Kaufman. I won't be long.
It's all right. Take your time.
I'm innocent, Val.
Oh, yeah? Why bother to tell me about it?
You're my son. I care about you.
You mean you care about how you look, don't you?
No, I mean I care about you. And yes, your opinion of me. I want to tell you something, Val. I've watched you looking at me and judging. And I saw the disapproval in your eyes when you found out that I wasn't perfect. Well, I'm going to tell you something now that I should have told you then. Nobody's perfect. Nobody. And the only thing I'm guilty of is not having set you straight on that a long time ago. Now, I'm innocent of this charge, Val. And I'm going to fight it. And I want you on my side. I love you very much, son.
So what are we gonna do if he doesn't show up? We win by default.
Hold on. This is not a baseball game.
I'm sorry I'm late. Here's my excuse.
Thank you. Are you going to continue the trial?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Jury in the jury box. Frank, I believe you were on the stand.
Mr. Vanzetti. Your Honor, I'd like to say a few words to the jury.
Go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to caution you about prejudicial feelings. As you all know about my father, and some of you have spoken to me, and I really appreciate that. But I don't want your feeling sorry for me to influence your decision in this case. And just for the record, my father is completely innocent.
Hey, man, I thought in this country, man, innocent people don't never get in trouble.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But I was wrong. I was wrong about a lot of things.
Hey, I'm a free man.
Right. You gonna drop the charges?
Well, absolutely not.
Why not?
Because I don't believe your story, Mr. Vanzetti. I'd like to question you about a few of your political associations of the past few years.
Objection.
To what?
To the fact, quote, a government which has come to value its own secrets more than the lives of its citizens has become a tyranny, whether you call it a republic, a monarchy, or anything, unquote.
Your Honor, would you please ask the defense attorney how that statement relates to anything that I'm talking about?
Sure, you can ask him. Look, the fact is, man, my clients are being tried for making some uncool political move, not for doing what they're accused of doing. And it says so right here, man, and the defense attorney in here knows just where it was at.
Mr. Prosecutor?
That particular statement was made by the defense attorney in a motion for the new trial.
Oh, phew, man, that Val knows everything.
So, could I talk to my colleague and make sure that we clean up this hassle before we go on to the next one?
Jason?
Yeah, okay. But y'all had better dig this, man. All my objections are gonna be standing by ready, willing, and able.
Objections noted. Carry on, gentlemen. Ever since we've been discussing the 1920s, a couple of words keep cropping up. One of them is prohibition. I'm sure everybody knows what that means.
All them law-abiding citizens that couldn't abide by the law.
The other is prosperity. The Coolidge prosperity, the Hoover prosperity. Paul, what does that word mean?
Well, when something prospers, it grows quicker than anybody expects it to.
Like Bernie's hair.
Anyway, in the 1920s, everything seemed to be growing bigger, better, and faster.
Right. 2 cars in every garage, 2 chickens in every pot.
That's right. But we can't talk about prosperity and ignore the stock market. Now, you remember during the 19th century, the big dream was finding gold. Then it was oil. Well, in the 20s, the stock market seemed to offer everybody a chance to get rich quick just by phoning a broker.
That's how everybody ended up. Broker.
Almost everybody.
How could so many people be suckered into a deal like that?
Well, prosperity is more than just dollars and cents. It's a state of mind.
It just doesn't seem real.
It doesn't seem real to you because it was 40 years ago, and you've never been in a situation like that.
Mr. Dixon, I don't ever expect to be.
I wouldn't be too sure. You see, I have this little project in mind. I want each of you to take $1,000, an imaginary $1,000, and invest it in the market.
My broker just jumped out of the window.
You'll find all the stocks listed in here and in your newspapers. So check them out, call a brokerage house, do some research, then invest your $1,000.
There's just one thing to know, Mr. Dixon.
And what might that be, Jason?
Don't nobody beat the system.
I was just reading that a frown takes twice as many muscles as a smile.
My muscles can use the exercise. This thing is incredible.
School budget?
No, it's an operational analysis of Walt Whitman. But the absenteeism,
Is it that bad?
it's up 5%.
I didn't realize there were that many kids out of school.
Kids? What kids? I'm talking about faculty absenteeism.
Attention, please. Will the following students please report at once to the assistant principal? Abernathy, Code, Rabbit, Slink, Carson, Kenyon, Knott, Pond, Sonkin, Jones, Lefkowitz.
Oh, those guys, they're always in trouble.
Shall we start the meeting?
What'll somebody trade me for a hard-boiled egg?
A piece of celery.
I call the meeting of the junior class gift committee to order.
Oh, come on. Won't somebody make me a better deal for this delicious, nutritious hen fruit?
A half a baked bean sandwich?
Treasurer's report.
Mr. Chairman, as of this date, the gift fund treasury has $479.33.
The following students will report at 1:30 to the athletic field. Hawley, Jackson, Ingalls, Locke, and Merritt. This announcement will not be repeated.
$476.25 has been earmarked for the class gift, a 20-volume set of encyclopedias of science, leaving a balance of $3.08.
Oh, come on, somebody. I hate hard-boiled eggs.
Tuna salad on whole wheat.
It's a deal.
Okay.
Look, I had a summit meeting with Miss Schultz in the school library, and she agreed to find room for the gift.
Find room?
Yes, even if it means moving her bound copies of Popular Mechanics.
Well, big deal.
You see, not even the library wants the books.
Look, the encyclopedia is a very worthwhile gift.
Do you know what the junior class at Halstead is giving their school? An air purifier. Every time somebody takes a breath over there, they're going to remember who bought it.
Boy, who'll remember us?
All them people who couldn't find the bound copies of Popular Mechanics.
Look, an air purifier is very expensive.
I just wish there was something.
This is your principal speaking. I'm asking all students to please stop dropping empty lunch bags in the halls and use the cans provided. Thank you.
Hey, why don't we buy an intercom for the school?
That's something we really need.
Now that would be appreciated.
I know this guy who knows a guy, and I'm sure we can get a discount.
Yeah, but I thought it was all settled.
Well, what do we got to lose, Miss Johnson?
I move to Larry talks to the guy who knows the guy.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Crazy.
I bet you don't know.
Okay, how's everybody doing on the stock market? Helen?
I'm about $25 ahead.
That must be the $25 I lost.
How about you, Jason?
I can't get with the whole thing, man. It doesn't make sense to me.
Why?
If you really buying, man, you pick up a telephone. You call a man. You may have never met him before. And you say, buy me some stock.
Okay.
Okay, that's what he says. Now you're on part of some company.
Right.
Okay, 2 days later, man, that same part of that same company ain't even worth half as much.
Oh, that happens.
How can that be?
Well, the company is probably worth the same as it was before. But what's changed is the people's judgment of that worth.
That same part of that same company could be worth twice as much, too.
Not if I'm holding, man.
How have you been doing, Paul?
I guess you'd say I'm bullish, Mr. Dixon.
Why?
Well, I talked to a couple of brokers and my uncle at the bank. From what they told me and from what I read, I made my investments. So far, I've got a total profit of $547.
Made that in 1 week?
Miss Johnson, in just a few days of playing the stock market, Paul has made over $600.
On paper.
Yeah, but what does the stock market have to do with our gift committee?
Well, if you can do it with funny money, why not the real thing?
Yeah, for the quality intercom system the size we need is going to cost over $900.
It's nearly twice as much money as we have.
Yeah, but what happened to the guy you know who knew a guy?
That guy doesn't know him anymore.
We don't have a lot of time to make that much money. But to go into the stock market to raise money is just out of the question.
Sure the figures, Pa.
He's made more than $50 in the past 2 hours just sitting in class.
Wait, you have? Well, now wait. It is your money, and you raised it. You have the right to decide what to do with it.
We've decided.
Now, look, I don't deny that it would be nice to have a new intercom. Or if you would have invested your money last week, you'd have enough money this week to buy it. I mean, it's a marvelous surprise. I mean, nobody'd expect a new intercom, but...
But what, Miss Johnson?
But I am your faculty advisor. And I think I better get some advice. Hi. Hey, I need some advice.
You've come to the fountainhead.
Shall we take turns? Look, I'm very interested in the stock market.
The stock market? Have you been talking to some of the kids in my class?
As a matter of fact, yes.
I think everybody should know something about the stock market.
Do you really think so, Mr. Kaufman?
You may quote me.
I finally got into a mutual fund.
I think at your age, you ought to diversify your portfolio. Hedge with a few blue chips. Include some long-term capital gains, but don't confine yourself to one exchange. Keep an eye out for over-the-counter buys.
Over-the-counter?
A stock's not listed on the big exchanges.
And don't forget tax-free bonds.
Are all those things better than mutual funds?
No.
Golly, you sound like a man who really knows the stock market, Mr. Kaufman.
My brother-in-law is a broker.
Oh, hey, I've got a class, but I can't tell you how much help you've been. Especially you, Mr. Kaufman.
I had no idea you were such an expert. Are you really making money at it?
Well, I've never lost any money. Of course, I've never actually bought any stocks either.
Listen. We're all interested in the environment, right?
Right.
Okay, now here's a stock called Rare Air.
Now, just wait a minute. I mean, I'm interested in the environment and in peace and in women's lib, but right now I'm interested in buying a stock that's going to double our money fast, right?
I think we should invest the whole thing in Will Groco.
Will Groco? Sounds like a fertilizer.
It's a small company specializing in pipe fittings. My uncle at the bank has some inside information. Will Groco is about to merge with one of the big oil companies.
And when the news come out, in orbit it goes, right?
My uncle thinks we can double or triple our money in the next couple of weeks, if we buy now at $10 a share.
Setting up for me, man.
Well, let's buy it.
Right.
It's unanimous.
Not with me, it ain't.
Come on, Jason.
Hey, I didn't ask to be on this committee.
Well, you're on it, so vote.
I vote no.
Yes!
Well, that's the system.
Miss Johnson, on behalf of the junior class, we hereby authorize you to put our money into the market.
All right. I guess we don't have too much to lose,
Only $479.33.
Everybody. The Bama State Style Marathon. Saturday at noon. Only on Aspire.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Kaufman. Good morning.
The Wall Street Journal. Boring from within, Clever.
Today's market opened sluggish with the Dow Jones down 3 points in light trading. Industrials down 0.07, transportation down 2.36.
You really got those kids interested in the stock market. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
Attention, all members of the junior class gift committee. Special noon meeting in Miss Johnson's room. This is an emergency.
What's the matter with Alice?
Well, being class gift advisor has been known to do that to teachers.
I see.
A drop of 2 1/8 in one day.
Wow, do you know what that means in dollars and cents?
Means we've lost $100.
Only if we sell.
Oh, yeah. Hey, man, that's double talk. I'm no genius, but I know 350 less than 450.
Wait a minute. My uncle told me that a drop like this isn't unusual. You've got to look at the big picture.
I've looked at the big picture, and I see us being chased out of town by the junior class.
I guess we gotta sell, huh?
I think that'd be a mistake.
If we sell now, we can't even buy the encyclopedia.
We can always get a 10-year subscription to the Wall Street Journal.
Now I know why people jumped out of windows in 1929.
Now, wait. This is no time for panic.
It's as good a time as any, Miss Johnson.
I ain't gonna say I told you so, but I sure did.
Hey, Miss Johnson, are you going to get in trouble with Mr. Kaufman?
Mr. Kaufman. Why didn't I think of him? Hey, I bet he'll know what to do in any stock market crisis.
You know, this whole stock market business would never have occurred to the committee if it hadn't been for my class.
But you didn't actively participate in the speculation with the gift fund, did you?
No. But anyway, I'm here for moral support.
I admire a man who stays with a sinking ship. Miss Johnson, why didn't you just confide in somebody before you bought this Rococo or whatever it is?
Well, I was going to, but it all seemed like it would be such a nice surprise, and you seemed to think investing was really a good idea, and then if a man with your experience in the stock market thought that, then the bell rang,
Wait a minute. My experience in the stock market?
But all the things you said.
Oh, my. I led you on, right? Miss Johnson, my experience in the stock market consists of listening very carefully to my brother-in-law, the broker, until I fall asleep. Then when I wake up, if I have an urge to invest one dime, I go back to sleep again until the temptation goes away. All right. I'm not going to tell you what to do.
You're not?
Well, I can't. It's the student's money. But I'm certain that you, as a responsible member of my faculty, will advise the right thing. Sell.
Sell?
Well, while you still have enough money left to buy 10 volumes of the encyclopedia.
Thank you, Mr. Kaufman.
Alice Johnson, the plunger of Wall Street.
No, Will Groco. W-I-L-G-R-O-C-O. Can't find the quotations. Probably dropped right off the board.
Don't lose your enthusiasm.
I already have in the stock market. But can you speak a little louder, please? Thank you.
Well, what did the broker say?
No change in the last hour.
What are you going to tell Mr. Kaufman about not selling?
I'm going to tell him the truth. Tell him that I talked to Jimmy's uncle and he isn't worried. And then I'm going to tell him I followed his other advice.
Which was what?
Don't make any decisions till you sleep on it. Now, if a line of poetry is in pentameter, how many feet does that line have? Helen?
5.
Right. Now, if it's in hexameter, Bernie?
It's gotta be 6.
Correct. Thank you.
Miss Johnson, you know, another interesting thing about that operational analysis of Walt Whitman, it says that the average faculty member spends 1 to 7 hours a month either making personal phone calls or waiting to make them. Isn't that interesting?
Well, I was going to call the brokerage to see how Will Groco closed today.
Miss Johnson, look, take my advice. Once you sell a stock, forget about it. Don't worry about it anymore. All right. Come into my office. I'll make the call for you out of morbid curiosity. Simon? Seymour. Your brother-in-law, Simon. How many Seymours do you know? Get your head out of the Dow Jones. I'd like to ask you a question, please. What was the closing quotation on Will Groco, please? Will Groco. Thank you.
11 and a half?
11 and a half.
What are you so happy? You didn't take my advice.
I'm sorry, Mr. Kaufman, but I'm not sorry.
Sell!
No! You can't.
If you sell now, we can get all our money back and buy the encyclopedia.
We're not selling for any encyclopedias.
We're giving a new intercom.
Or even something bigger.
Bigger?
Look who's joined the Bulls.
Gonna be a capitalist, Jason?
Man, the way Will Coco's moving, who knows? I might even vote to get us one of them air purifiers and an intercom.
Wait a minute. I share your enthusiasm, but let's be realistic.
Shoot. Miss Johnson, we can't sell now. We gotta hang in there. If there's one thing I know, it's when you're hot, you're hot.
Hi, fellas.
Mr. Dixon.
What's the problem, Larry?
We want to call our broker to find out how our stocks are doing.
So?
We don't have a dime. We got bigger coins, man.
Well, I chip in a dime.
Thanks, Mr. Dixon.
We'll pay you back.
Oh, that's okay. I'm not going to think of it as a loan. I'm thinking of it as an investment.
An investment? In what?
Your education. Well, it's up another 2 points.
How many shares have you bought?
Oh, I never play the market. I just give people good advice like you do.
You'll never get rich, Pete.
I'll never get ulcers either. You know, you sound pretty hot on this Will Groco stock.
Well, Pete, maybe we're too conservative. Maybe these kids know something we don't know.
Maybe. But all I had in mind was a little classroom experiment, like what it's like to lay your money on the line.
So? They did.
Yeah, but I hate to see them get hurt. They worked hard for that money.
Pete, I mean, the school is going to get a new intercom.
I hope so.
You hope so?
What's wrong?
I don't feel too hungry anymore.
I think we should sell.
Oh, come on, man.
My uncle says it's easy to lose sight of why you went into the market in the first place.
To buy an intercom.
I say let's sell and buy it.
But we could buy something bigger.
Look, man, we could buy clean air for this school. All we need is a little more time.
I've got a suggestion. Why don't we sell enough of the stock to buy the intercom? And then we'll have enough in the market left for speculating. And later...
I'm for that.
4-2, Brother Bull. Looks like we're outnumbered.
Shoot.
Before we start class, Miss Johnson has a few words she wishes to share with you.
It's about the stock.
No air purifier.
No intercom?
No encyclopedia?
I'm afraid not. I couldn't sell the stock.
Why not?
Well, the Securities and Exchange Commission had complaints about possible illegal manipulations of Will Groco's stock. So, pending an investigation, they've frozen it.
We can't get our money out?
For how long?
Nobody knows. Weeks, months. In this case, maybe never. I'm sorry. But I thought you ought to know right away.
Hey, man, it's a good thing this room is no higher than the second floor.
The gift from the junior class to Walt Whitman High.
45 shares of Will Groco. Worthless.
Or worth more than $1,000. And only time and the SEC will tell.
That's what you're smiling about?
Well, I think it's been a very valuable educational experience.
You can say that again.
Then why aren't you smiling?
The following students will report at 1:30 to the athletic field. Hawley, Jackson, Engels, Locke, and Merritt. This announcement will not be repeated.
made it.
Oh, I can beat him anytime.
Shoot.
I mean, you just made your appointment.
Oh, I've got an appointment with Miss McIntyre, Jason. You go on to the talent show meeting. I won't be long.
Carrie, how have you been doing in your schoolwork since we talked a couple of weeks ago?
I'm not failing.
You're not in the top 10 either.
I'm not trying to be in the top 10, Miss McIntyre.
Well, you tried last year and you made it. Without too much trouble from what I could see.
That was last year, Miss McIntyre. This is this year. What's the difference?
Carrie, the difference may be a scholarship to the Carlisle Conservatory. A chance for you to take your talent for music and really do something with it.
I'm willing to take that as it comes, Miss McIntyre. You know, see what happens.
Why?
Just seems the way to go.
Well, it doesn't to me.
Well, with no disrespect, Miss McIntyre, it's my life.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we're going to have a really, really big shoe. And you see this shoe? Our shoe's gonna be bigger than this shoe.
All right, come on, let's get this shoe on the road, okay?
Oh.
Say the secret word and win a trip to the supermarket.
Lunch. That's not exactly what I had in mind. Oh, look, this meeting is just to pick a director.
I'd like to make a nomination.
Go ahead, Bernie.
Well, in my opinion, there's only one person with the qualifications, the drive, the determination to turn this display of rank amateurism into box office magic.
Sounds like you got somebody in mind.
Oh, yeah, me.
Oh, yeah. Hi, Miss Johnson. Sorry I'm late. Did I miss anything?
Well, Bernie just nominated himself for director.
I couldn't find anybody else to do it.
Okay, then if there are no further nominations, all in favor of Bernie say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Bernie, I'll expect a progress report by the end of the week.
Oh, thanks, Miss Johnson. By the way, you don't happen to know how to tap dance, do you?
Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give all of you an option. You can either let your grades stand, or you can rewrite your papers and turn them into me by next Friday. It's up to you.
Mr. Dixon.
Carrie, you going to rewrite that paper?
You said it was up to us.
I know.
Oh, you mean it's not up to us?
I mean, if a student has a certain potential, to try and live up to it.
I am living up to it, Mr. Dixon.
You can't prove that by your grades.
They aren't everything.
They can be important to you, though. Miss McIntyre said she talked to you about that.
Mr. Dixon, why are you putting the pressure on me?
Carrie, you're lucky enough to have something extra going for you in a number of ways. And I think you owe it to yourself to try to develop that.
Potential.
Right. And because I like you.
Thanks, Mr. Dixon. I guess I'll take another crack at that paper.
Good. Have I got them all?
Just.
You're writing that now?
Well, I just had a last-minute thought.
Thanks. Has anybody seen Carrie Whitaker?
I think he had an appointment, Mr. Dixon.
Oh, what makes you think so, Jason?
Oh, I mean, you know, he ain't here.
Thanks, Jason.
And you're welcome, Mr. Dixon, anytime. Hey, man, where you been? Mr. Dixon was looking for you today in class. I told him you had an appointment.
Thanks, Jace, but you don't have to do that for me.
Hey, right on cue, sweetheart. You're up next.
Just give me a second to plug in, sweetheart, and we'll get this show on the road.
Uma, Zuma, Mama, my African queen. Man, even woman so tall and lean. Put my head upon a stake and carry it round. Cut my heart in pieces and lay it on the ground. I don't care, whatever's fair.
You want to see me, Mr. Dixon?
If you can spare the time. Carrie, what's going on with you?
Mr. Dixon, I'm sorry about cutting class.
Are you sorry about not rewriting that paper, too?
That's one reason I cut class.
Oh, are there others?
Yeah, I felt like going to the beach.
You felt like going to the beach.
That's right.
How many times do you think I feel like going to the beach?
I don't know.
A lot. And how many times do you think other people feel like going to the beach?
A lot.
But they don't go.
They don't know what they're missing.
They may be missing something, Carrie, but they're doing what they're supposed to do, what they have to do.
Suppose you don't have to do anything.
Carrie, you have to do something, and you have got to stop fooling around, or you're never going to get to music school. As a matter of fact, at the rate you're going, you're never going to graduate from this school.
I know it.
Carrie, I'm not through talking to you yet. I don't know why you're doing it, but you better stop fooling around and start living as if you've got some kind of...
Don't tell me how to live, Mr. Dixon. If you want to do me a favor, tell me how to die.
To die?
Yeah. I got leukemia.
When did you find out?
A couple of months ago.
Well, who knows besides your parents and your doctor?
Nobody. Only you. And I'm glad I told you.
I guess not saying anything is the best way to handle it.
It's the only way, Mr. Dixon. If everybody knew, what kind of life would I have? They wouldn't mean to, but they'd all be treating me like a basket case.
Yeah.
I have your word you won't tell anyone.
Okay, you got my word.
I guess you can understand now why it doesn't matter to me so much if I rewrite a paper or fail English or cut a class.
Yeah, I can understand that.
There we are. Come on, Carrie, we need you. Hi, Mr. Dixon. Hello.
I don't want to do it, but maybe it'll have some impact. Come in.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello, hello. I just saw Mr. Dragon in the teacher's lounge, and he says you're going to ban all extracurricular activities for Carrie Whitaker.
That's the idea.
Under the circumstances, Pete, it seems like the thing to do.
Does that include the show, too?
Of course.
Well, I think it's a mistake.
Why?
Well, I've already spoken to him about it.
I've already talked to him lots of times about it.
I also talked to his parents.
Isn't that more my job, Pete?
Yes, it is, and I'm sorry, but...
Pete, what are you suggesting? That we can expect to see some improvement in Carrie, that he needn't be disciplined?
That's exactly what I'm suggesting.
Well, you both know the boy better than I do. Maybe you should discuss it further. But, it is Liz's decision.
I know.
All right. But I've got to see some results. Soon.
I know that, too.
Pushing it too far, Carrie. The boom's going to be lowered, and I won't be able to stop it.
Yeah, I guess. Thanks, Mr. Dixon, for what you did.
You're welcome.
For whatever it's worth, I'm not too satisfied with the way things are going either.
What do you mean?
Well, just going ahead and doing whatever I feel like isn't working. I don't know why, it just isn't.
You mean it doesn't satisfy you?
Yeah. I tried talking it over with my folks, but it's too rough on them. I mean, I say hi to my mother and she starts crying.
Yeah.
She was embarrassed she cried when you called the other night.
Maybe I shouldn't have called.
No, she was glad you did. And so was my dad. It's like, now they're not alone. I guess that's part of it for me, too. You know, you can cram a lot into a day, but you still have to be alone once in a while. And what's the point of it all, Mr. Dixon? What's life mean?
I don't know, Carrie. To me, it only has the meaning that you give it.
I guess I've been doing a lot of taking lately. Maybe giving's the answer.
For instance?
I don't know exactly. Giving of myself, I guess. The kind of thing you are always putting off doing or saying because there's always plenty of time to get around to it. Does that make any sense?
To me, it does.
Carrie, baby. Bernie, baby. Before you start giving me that Carrie, baby stuff, you better listen to what I gotta say.
What you got to... You can't do the show? Your voice is gone? Your grandmother's sick?
I don't want to sing Uma Gooma Mama or Wiggle Giggle Woman. I want to write something new.
Something new? You can't do something new. The show is 2 days off, and you won't have time to write or rehearse it, and you got the closing spot.
I want to do it.
Carrie, we got 2 great songs.
Old songs. It's time for a new one. I promise you, I won't blow it.
Oh, come on, Carrie.
What's the worst that can happen? If I can't come up with something new, I'll do the old stuff. Come on, Bernie, keep the faith. I'm not gonna let you down.
Keep the faith. I ain't gonna let you down. You know, kid, I just might like that.
Chase.
Yeah, what's that?
How well do you know me?
You trying to get heavy, man.
No. I just think I've been kind of skimming the surface all my life. You know, going to school to get the grades rather than to learn something. That kind of thing.
Yeah, I can dig it.
You can, but you always seem so like you knew just what you wanted and what to do to get it.
Come on, man.
I mean it. You can't tell me you've ever been a phony, can you?
Yeah, man. Everybody's like that sometimes, man. I just do my thing the best way I can.
Yeah?
Yeah. Now, look, man, the way you saw me, that's the way I saw you all along, together. Like you knew just what you wanted, Jack, and how to get it.
So it's you and me and the rest of the world, isn't it?
Right, man. That's what makes it.
Now, for your special treat, here's Carol Channing.
Why, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. This is Carol Channing. Yes. Oh, it's so nice to be here. And, oh, there's one of my favorite stars. It's James Stewart. Yes, come out here, James. Come out here.
Why, I mean, Miss Channing, I like to say I really like you. Yeah, I want to hear you right now, because thanks a lot. Wait a minute, there's somebody here I'm in Carrie Frank. Come out.
Where have you been? I had a big hassle with my mom.
What about the song? Did you finish the song?
Yeah.
Where's your glittery suit?
Home.
Home? What is that?
Guitar. My first guitar.
But it's not electric.
Bernie, don't worry.
Don't worry. The kids tell me we gotta smash up here. The kids tell me not to worry.
Right on. And now, ladies and gentlemen, fellow inmates, the act you've been waiting for all night. The big rock sound guaranteed to knock your eardrums out or your money back. No, scratch the money back. What women's own Carrie Lee Whitaker!
The sign said, "Come as you are," so I came as I am, which is sort of a backdoor lead into the song I have tonight. It's called You Don't Know Me.
You don't know me, he said. I never let you. I never touched you, he said. I was afraid to. You never heard me. We never spoke. We never listened, and it's my fault. He said that you don't know me. He spoke of love, he said, but just walked away. We live today. I'll be with you. I'll sing a while, and when I'm through, then you will know
What was the most important achievement of George Washington Carver?
As a matter of fact, that's the second question on the exam. Please put your books away and let's begin.
Oh, Carrie's not here.
Oh, I called his house Friday and his mother said he was sick.
Oh, okay. As you might have gathered by now, you're going to need the whole period, so let's begin. I have something I want to say. Carrie Whitaker died this morning. He had leukemia. Test is canceled and class is dismissed.
I remember how I felt when President Kennedy was killed. I was only 7, but I was still sad. I never really knew anyone who died before.
My grandmother died about a year ago, but she was 84.
If it had been me, I would have taken up this big collection. And then I would have flown to London for the Rolling Stones concert. You know what's weird? You see people die every day on TV, but you never really think about that. But it can happen to you.
It could happen to anyone, anytime.
Look, if you think about it too much, you might as well be dead already. What we gotta do is get it on all the time we can, just like Carrie did.
I'll sing a while, and when I'm through, he said, then you will know me.
How long did you know? Not too long. Oh. Where's Miss Johnson?
She's in the faculty lounge, crying.
Nothing wrong with that. Hello. Miss Hogarth, would you just hold all my calls today, please? Wait. Look, just tell him I'll call him back tomorrow, okay? Thank you. Oh, I'm not going to get any work done. Well, not today. You know, I keep telling myself I've got to get more balance in my life. Get things in perspective. All work and no play is no good. Do I listen to me? No. Folks, have a good day.
Where are you going?
Home. To do something I don't do often enough. What's that? Right to my son.
glad you're all here. You can help me spread the word. Which word? Well, Mr. Dragon has the flu.
You want everyone to know that?
No, he's faculty advisor for the Poets' Corner.
Oh, and they're sponsoring the Speakers' Assembly today.
Right, and since Mr. Dragon's absent, it's my job to see that there's somebody in the auditorium besides the 8 members of the Poets' Corner and me.
Who's the speaker?
Oh, Edith Appleton Tope.
Who?
Edith Appleton Tope.
She's a poetess.
And a very good one. She writes sonnets, odes, Alexandrian epics.
Something for everyone.
I don't think the students are going to line up to hear sonnets, odes, and Alexandrian epics.
Well, they just might like Miss Tope if they give her a chance. And Mr. Dragon says she's another Ella Wheeler Wilcox.
Oh.
Well, any student interest you can drum up will be appreciated.
Well, we'll do what we can.
Okay.
Edith Appleton Tope.
Well, if you can't get Ella Wheeler Wilcox.
There are a lot of speakers that could pack that auditorium. People with kids would be interested in.
Yeah. Well, for what it's worth, we're not the only school having the problem. The school board may cut off the speakers' fund entirely.
You know, I still think that fund shouldn't be available just to organize clubs.
Well, that's the problem. You see, the speakers appeal to just the club members and nobody else. I've been trying to get the board to change the policy.
Any chance?
Well, George Franklin is the stumbling block. He'd like to cancel the whole thing.
And save money.
How'd you guess? I have another meeting with him, but I tell you, if I have to report to old George that nobody showed up at today's lecture, I'm going to have 2 chances of changing old George's mind. Slim and none. Let's see here.
Hey, you better hurry. You're going to be late.
Late? Late for what, Miss Johnson?
Today's speaker.
Edith Appleton Tope.
That's who it is.
Well, we were reminded, but poetry, Miss Johnson.
Nick, I thought you prided yourself on being open-minded.
Marx says that unless it serves to liberate the oppressed, poetry has no utility.
Who knows? You may be liberated.
Miss Johnson, you don't have to hurry. There will be plenty of seats. Why don't they bring in speakers who have something relevant to say to us?
Relevant to you and to us are 2 different things, Nick. But there's no reason why we shouldn't have speakers we want to hear.
At least there'll be something to think about.
Yeah, before we've decided not to go.
Mr. Dixon, can you spare me a few minutes?
Sure, Nick.
I'd like to organize a new club here at school.
Oh, what kind of club?
A Marxist-Lenin Society.
Is this serious?
I sure am.
Nick, what's turned you on to Marx and his philosophy in such a big way?
Everywhere I look, Mr. Dixon, I see such terrible inequalities. It makes me mad.
Look, I'd like to see everybody get their fair share, too, but I haven't seen any proof that Marx and Lenin have the answer.
Maybe everyone will agree with you. Maybe I won't even get 1 member. But don't I have the right to try?
Yes, you do have that right.
I knew you'd be fair about it. That's why I want you to be the club's faculty advisor.
No thanks, Vic. You know, the one thing that makes this country healthy is the free expression of all ideas, including yours and your friends. But since I don't share your point of view, that rules me out as faculty advisor.
If you turn me down, there won't be a club. No other teacher would be fair enough to sponsor me.
Oh, I don't think that's necessarily true.
I do. This means a lot to me, Mr. Dixon. And you said the left and the right have a lot of worthwhile ideas. You said we shouldn't just listen to one point of view. You said if all you hear is what you already know...
Before you start doing any organizing, remember, Mr. Kaufman has to authorize the club.
I'll get his permission.
Okay. You get his permission and I'll serve as faculty advisor.
How many students showed up at the lecture?
I'd say there were about 30 when it started. Maybe 15 when it was over.
The kids just won't open themselves up to anything new. You say poetry and they slam the door.
I sympathize with you, Miss Johnson. Still, I do think Edith Appleton Tope's appeal will always be somewhat limited.
I suppose so. But I don't agree with Mr. Dragon. I never compare her with Ella Wheeler Wilcox.
No?
No, she's closer to Lizette Woodworth Reese.
Mr. Kaufman?
Oh, Mr. Franklin. Well, this is a surprise. Miss McIntyre, Miss Johnson, this is Mr. Franklin of the school board.
I saw the ladies in the auditorium.
Oh, you heard the speaker.
Oh, well, we better be going.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye.
Well, what did you think of Edith Appleton Tope?
Well, I wouldn't go so far as to say that when you've heard one poem, you've heard them all, but...
I take it Miss Tope is not your favorite.
From the size of the audience, she's not anybody's favorite. You're beating a dead horse, Mr. Kaufman.
Well, Why don't we try to find a way to keep the horse alive?
In Miss Tope's case, we're using a very good figure of speech.
Oh, good morning. I've been looking for you.
What's the problem?
Nick Timmons.
He asked you, huh?
A Marx Lenin? Excuse me. A Marx Lenin Society with you as the faculty advisor?
Shall we go up or down?
Down, it's easier. Excuse me. How come you agreed to be faculty advisor?
Well, he quoted some words about the free exchange of ideas.
From Karl Marx?
From Pete Dixon.
He asked for it, huh? Well, maybe next week he'll be into Nietzsche or Thomas Aquinas or somebody.
The society welcomes dissension, Nancy. Join up, if you're not afraid to honestly examine your attitudes.
Look, I'm not afraid, but the whole idea bores me.
Yeah, yakking about Marx and Lenin and...
We'll have lots of activities, too.
Such as?
Well, on May Day, we'll have a big picnic.
Lots of red ants.
And I've got another idea just in the planning stage that could really set this school on its ear.
No, thanks.
You know, May Day, I might stop by at the picnic.
Jason, how about you? The Marx-Lenin Society needs you. You need it.
We're gonna have to struggle along, man, without each other.
I'd be honored to have you as my first member.
I'm not a member of anything except the human race, and then nobody asked me did I want to join that.
But the club's a natural for you.
Anybody say club, and I cover my head.
Mr. Dixon.
Oh, Nick, how's it going?
Not so good.
How's the membership drive coming?
It takes time for an idea to catch on. What we need is something to spark interest in the society.
You know, you might have to face the possibility that interest doesn't exist.
Mr. Dixon, as a recognized club here at Walt Whitman, we have the right to draw on the Speakers Fund, haven't we?
Yes.
We're going to sponsor a speaker who'll fill that auditorium and have everybody in this school talking about the Marx-Lenin Society.
Who've you got in mind?
Oscar Smith.
Oscar Smith?
The Oscar Smith. One of the Tulsa 10. I wrote to him asking if he'd consider speaking here, sponsored by the society. Here's his answer.
Would be delighted, any fee acceptable, consider it an honor and a sacred obligation to share my experiences with young people. Very truly yours, Oscar Smith.
That kind of unselfish idealism is what the movement's all about. You don't seem very pleased, Mr. Dixon.
Nick, you asked me to be faculty advisor, but you didn't ask for my advice.
I didn't want to bother you.
You mean you didn't want to hear the reasons why Oscar Smith wouldn't be a suitable speaker for a high school lecture series?
Well, don't you think the kids will turn out to hear him?
Oh, I'm sure they would.
I really haven't done anything I shouldn't have done, Mr. Dixon. You can still say no.
I know that.
Are you going to? Or will you ask for the money from the Speakers Fund?
I'll discuss it with Mr. Kaufman.
He was one of the Tulsa 10.
The loudest one.
The one that was furthest left on all the pictures.
That's Oscar Smith.
Tried for conspiracy.
But not convicted. Look, I don't agree with him, and I know you don't agree with him. But I think the kids have a right to hear and make up their own minds. What's so funny?
I was just thinking how George Franklin is going to react to this. Oh, boy, this whole program is hanging by a thread.
I know, but I didn't want to just turn it down.
No, you were right. Why don't we just cool it for a couple of days while I think about it? Oscar Smith. Well, he's certainly no Edith Appleton Tope.
Have you seen this? I mean, that Marxist oddball thinks he can bring Oscar Smith here to lecture.
Oscar Smith.
I mean, I can't believe Mr. Kaufman would let Nick invite that long-haired, bearded, un-American radical here at Walt Whitman.
Hey, Nance, you just stepped on a lot of toes.
Well, I'm going to get a petition together for concerned students. I'd like to hear him speak. He really put on a show at the trial.
Did you see it when he was on TV and he played the banjo and sang to the jury?
Look, an extremist like Oscar Smith shouldn't be here on this campus.
I'll take that poster.
Mr. Dixon, I would like to protest this proposed appearance.
I'm sure you would. Not the only one.
You wanted to see me, Mr. Dixon?
Yes, sit down. I want to talk to you. Why did you put those posters up?
Just spreading the good word.
Well, you know Mr. Kaufman hasn't authorized Smith's appearance.
Not officially.
But you wanted to be sure he would by making it as hard as possible for him to refuse.
No, sir.
Don't con me, Nick. Bringing Oscar Smith here was what you had in mind from the first, right?
Sponsoring relevant speakers is one of the most important functions of a club.
But first you had to have a club. And to have a club, you had to have a faculty advisor.
I was trying to work within the system.
What you were trying to do was work yourself into a position of influence with the students.
What matters is I'm bringing one of the most vital political figures in the country to the school.
Any way you can?
So?
The end justifies the means. I'd say you'd learn that part of Marxism very well, Nick.
Mr. Dixon, there's nobody at this school I respect more than you.
You prove that by using me.
In a good cause. You should hear the kids. They're really turned on.
Well, their excitement is a little bit premature.
Mr. Kaufman will give us the okay, won't he?
I don't know.
But he can't turn us down now.
Oh, yes, he can. Nick, nobody likes to be pressured into making a decision.
Gee, Pete.
Gee, what, Jerry?
Well, the whole idea of a guy like that coming to a place like this to speak.
You really think it would be that terrible?
Well, not terrible, maybe, but not good.
Jerry, there's a lot of difference between good and terrible.
Well, let's just say the whole thing. How you handled it, Kaufman being on the spot, the speaker's program in jeopardy is unfortunate. You know what I mean?
Yes, I get the picture.
Well, I've got a class. We ought to have dinner sometime soon.
Yes, sure.
You know, now I understand why you and Liz are always so worried about me.
Oh, why is that?
Well, you're in the kind of situation that I always get into, and then I wonder how it happened to me.
Happens one step at a time.
That's the way it always is with me. Now, if we could just figure out which first steps to avoid.
You mean if I hadn't become faculty advisor for the Marx-Lenin Society?
But if you hadn't agreed to it, well, that just wouldn't be you.
Thanks, Alice.
This man Smith is a revolutionary. He's an anarchist organizer.
Well, my office hasn't authorized his appearance.
Well, then why have these posters been put up?
A student in the club that invited him let his enthusiasm overwhelm his better judgment.
Just went ahead without permission, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. What's a Marx-Lenin Society doing in a public school anyway?
It's an experiment.
Whose idea?
The same students. For what it's worth, so far he's the president, the vice president, the secretary, treasurer, and the only member.
Well, they say it's better to let these kids work these things out by themselves. I don't know. I was told what to do. I accepted it, and it's worked fine for me.
Mr. Franklin, could we get to the point of this meeting?
Well, I'll tell you flat out. I've thought about it. I've been around to other schools, and I don't think there's anything to discuss. We've been spending a lot of money on a speakers program nobody sees.
Well, that's the point. If we would change our policy so that the speakers were more relevant to what most of the students want to hear. Now, Oscar Smith...
Oh, you made the right decision there. The only decision. No subversive like Smith can be allowed to use the public schools for a platform.
I'm afraid you misunderstood me. I haven't made that decision yet.
You just told me you turned him down.
No, I said I haven't authorized his appearance, but that's as of now.
1 minute, you're asking for my support to retain the Speakers Fund. And in the next, you're telling me you're thinking of bringing in that wild-eyed radical. I don't understand you, Mr. Kaufman.
Mr. Franklin, this school doesn't exist in a vacuum. The students need to know what's going on outside. They're going to be out there pretty soon.
When you make your decision, Mr. Kaufman, I want to know.
You will.
Oh, by the way, when you're thinking about making that decision, I'd like you to keep in mind that not only are you laying the future of the Speakers Fund on the line, but conceivably, your professional future as well.
Well, that guy from the school board sure giving old Mr. Kaufman a hard time, huh?
The usual right of fear tactics.
Look, a lecture series paid for by the public is no place for a man like Oscar Smith.
Why not? He plays good banjo.
If he's wrong, the best way for us to find out is to listen to what he says.
Well, if they turn Oscar down, what can we do?
Parade. Picket. Protest.
Oh, I'm sure the school board's going to come out and watch us parade.
In unity, there's strength.
Nick, I don't think Marx and Lenin have the answer to our problems.
Only one thing makes me madder than the man telling me I got to listen to somebody is the man telling me I can't listen to somebody.
Okay, now the bank holiday wasn't a holiday like Christmas or 4th of July. It was when President Roosevelt closed all the banks.
Well, why do you do that?
Because there was a slight shortage of ready cash.
Okay, that's it. We'll pick it up here tomorrow.
Mr. Dixon, is it true the school board may cut off the speaker's fund?
Strong possibility.
Because of Oscar Smith?
Does it really matter to you?
Well, sure it does.
We can't let them take away one of our privileges.
Why all the concern now?
What do you mean?
I mean, is it really the speaker's fund you're concerned about, or are you just enjoying the protest?
We care.
Then why didn't you try to do something about the system of selecting speakers before?
We stayed away.
That's a negative, Bertie.
We agree with you, Mr. Dixon. But when Nick invited Smith, that started us thinking. There could be a committee organized to canvass the students.
Why don't we rap with all the students and take the best suggestions to Mr. Kaufman?
It's a good idea. But who's going to be on the committee?
Count me in.
You're not going to be on this alone, Nick. I'd like to be on it, too.
I got some spare time.
Well, it looks like the radical left has activated the far right and the silent majority. What about you, Jason?
No way. Somebody's got to be on the outside the community to tell it what it's doing wrong.
What a morning. I've been helping to answer Mr. Kaufman's phone.
Complaints about Oscar Smith?
Half the calls are from parents threatening to take their kids out of school if Oscar Smith speaks, and the other half are from people who want tickets for the lecture.
Well, when's Mr. Kaufman going to decide?
Today, I hope.
You know, yesterday the Poets' Corner broke a 45-year-old rule and voted to support the Marx-Lenin Society in their right to pick a speaker of their choice.
Oh, I just had a mental picture of Edith Appleton Toth and Oscar Smith walking off into the sunset together.
What do you got there?
Ham and cheese.
Ham and cheese? Man, you're living high.
Hey, where's Nick?
Oh, there.
Nick?
I got a telegram from Oscar Smith's agent.
His agent?
Yeah.
Demand for Oscar Smith lectures very strong. Can you guarantee a fee of $1,000 for Walt Whitman appearance? If not, regretfully cancel.
Oh, what a bummer.
I can't believe it. I can.
Walt Whitman can't afford that, Mr. Dixon.
No way.
He sold out. A chance for some quick money, and that's all that counts.
There's a little capitalist in all of us, Nick.
How could he compromise in everything he said he believed in? What about his obligation to young people?
I'm not sure I can answer that for you, Nick.
Will you tell Mr. Kaufman?
Sure. And Nick, when you finish reading Karl Marx, try Thomas Jefferson. I've got a book at home on Gandhi. You ought to look into it. You might enjoy it.
Thanks, Mr. Dixon.
Man, it just goes to show you can never tell about them banjo players.
Well, I called Franklin. I told him that the whole matter had been taken out of my hands.
What were you going to do?
I was going to let Oscar Smith come and speak. Of course, then I would have had to get somebody from the conservative point of view just to try to keep the whole speakers fund from being canceled.
You know the kids have organized a committee to petition for a change in the program.
What are they suggesting?
Well, the volunteer committee polled the kids, and they came up with a list of speakers they'd like to hear.
Well, let's hope this will guarantee an audience.
Roughly in order of preference.
Angela Davis, Spyro Agnew, Cesar Chavez, Dilly Graham,